everyone's looking for the young guy. They're looking for McVay. I think take a shot out Todd Bowles, get him a second shot at head coach, and see if he can do it.
I don't think they will. If they don't have Anthony Davis, I'm saying it right now. If Anthony Davis is out for the playoffs, they don't make it out of the first round.
It's crazy. And our kids will know how great Tom Brady is because he's going to be playing.
Yes, it is 15.0%.
That's what the Yankees brought Garrett Cole to do.
He was a 6th-round pick. This is a fairy tale story that's being written in front of our eyes.
People like to call them their JV team, and they just stole one of their better players.
They didn't struggle against the Padres. The Padres didn't really put up a fight in most of the games.
Jerry Jones, hope you're listening.
Hi, I'm Landon Bowe, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our MLB Opinions of the Week. I am Kevin. I am joined by the man that it is very difficult to find the right second baseman.
That's one way to put it. I also think that not only is it hard to find, it's just, I don't know if that's the right way to put it. I think this list was difficult to make 100%. I don't know if it was the hardest. It's just, I sometimes look at these names, I'm like, wow, that guy's a top 10 at his position guy. And it kind of makes me a little bit uneasy, a little bit. I don't know if that's how you feel, but that's definitely how I feel.
Yeah, it is weird because we can get into my 10. As I do have Marcus Semien on here, but he's a guy that's suffered as slowed down at the plate, but still great defensively. That's why I put him in the top 10. But it is weird given just how he is viewed right now in the league.
Yeah, I have him in my top 10. I have him a little bit higher than this. But I have some honorable mentions. I'll go into mine really quickly. They're Jackson Holliday, Bryson Stott, and Jose Altuve. I know Altuve's put a little bit of left. I think he'll play some more second base this year. That's definitely his better position. My number 10 is Ozzie Albies. Albies has had a kind of rough go of things recently. He did not have a great season last year. But I think he'll have a little bit of a resurgence. He only had 2.1 WAR. His OPS plus was only 89. But I think he'll return a little bit to that 2023. Maybe not fully where he's 16th in MVP voting. But I think he'll get close to back there. Last year he only hit 240, only had 16 homers. I think he'll get back around 22, 23 homers. And he'll be closer to like 260. And if he's that, I think he's a top 10 at his position.
So I do have one honorable mention. That's Brandon Lowe from the Tampa Bay Rays. He's a guy that hits for power and does well at second base. Albies is someone that did not make my list, given just how he has struggled over the years. But I can see him coming back to it. He can be another honorable mention from me. And then my 10 is Marcus Semien. I already mentioned him a little bit before. Defensively is fantastic. I do think he gets better at the plate, but I don't know if he can touch what he was doing a few years ago when he was earning MVP votes.
Yeah, we can go into my 9 because my 9 is Marcus Semien for similar reasons as you. I just put him a little bit above some of the guys. He did have a resurgent second half of the season, and that's the reason why I kind of feel a little bit more confident putting him here. But his and he also had a solid defensive season, which I think also improved his stock, but I still have a little bit of concerns regarding him. So I have him at 9. Who's your 9?
My 9 is Xavier Edwards for the Miami Marlins. 283 batting average, 95 WRC plus, and a 2.5 F WAR. To me, he's someone that does well defensively after moving to second base last year. Offensively, he does just enough, hitting more for contact than power, as he just had 3 home runs last year in 2025. So that is why he's at my 9. He just moved there. But given what he did and kind of what he showed offensively, he deserved to be in the top 10.
Yeah, I agree with him being in the top 10. I'll go into my 8. My 8 is Brandon Lau. Lau was, like you said, a power bat last year for the Rays. I do think I have him a little bit higher because 30 home runs from a second baseman is extremely impressive. And I do think that he fits very nicely in the Rays lineup. They don't have too many guys that hit for power, so having a guy that can hit 30 home runs from your second base slot I do think is advantageous. He also returned to his All-Star form last year, his first All-Star game since 2019. I do think he's a good player. I think he'll be around 120 OPS plus. I think he'll hit around 30 homers like he did last year. Last year when he played 134 games, he hit 31 homers. So I think he'll be around that mark this season, and I think 8's a good spot for him. Who's your 8?
My 8 is Jackson Holiday. He was an honorable mention for you, and I understand with how he struggled in his first year. He had a 242 batting average, but he had 17 home runs, 55 RBIs, and also 17 stolen bases. There is potential there, and that is why I think as the number one overall prospect last year, I think he struggled to open it, but we could see him getting better. Now, I think in his second year, he's going to do well defensively and offensively as well. I think defensively, it helps that he moved from shortstop to second base.
Okay. My number 7 is a guy last year that kind of caught my eye as one of the best for average guys. He only hit 4 home runs in 49 games. That's a pretty good clip, and he was 9th Rookie of the Year voting. He hit 2 more in those 49 games, and that's Luke Keeschel. I think Keeschel will be a player this year that I know he only played around 50 games last year, but Keeschel was very, very productive in that time. A 128 OPS plus. He hit 4 homers, had 28 RBIs in those 49 games, 207 plate appearances, but with a 302 batting average and a 382 on base percentage, extremely impressive. And that having him this high kind of shows what I think about the second base group, and I really like his potential this year. And I do think this is a position that you can kind of bank on potential more than the guys that are already there, because again, there's not that much in quality at that position currently in the league.
Yeah, and Keeschel did not make my list, but you make a good argument with potential, as I did that with Jackson Holiday. And it is someone where they can vault in because it's not a high barrier to get put in this top 10. My 7 is a guy that came on last year, but was more played 156 games. Part of Milwaukee Brewers, Bryce Terang, to me, makes it in my 7. He had a fantastic year last year, but the guys I have above him have done it more consistently. And Terang, I am curious, in his second year with the Brewers team that is relatively young, and they always find ways to do well, but last year was incredible for them, and I do wonder how they handle that as a young team.
Yeah, I have Bryce considerably higher, but we'll get to that when we get to that. My next player is Xavier Edwards. Edwards was a player that you mentioned. He's a switch hitter. He had 3.2 WAR this season. He backs 298 for his career, and he's a great fielder at the position. While he doesn't give much in the name of pop, which is kind of funny that I have him and Brandon Lau only 2 spots different, but Edwards is a player that I think will help Miami kind of be a guy that gets on base, steals some bags, and contributes on the ground.
Right. So that goes to my 6, where he was your honorable mention. I understand it, given that he didn't really play the position much last year, and that is Jose Altuve. I think he moves back to second. He does well offensively and does just enough defensively at the position, but I think offensively is why he is this high on this list and what he can do at the plate and getting on base.
Okay. My number 5 is Gleyber Torres. This hurts. Gleyber was a player that I really enjoyed watching in a Yankee uniform. Then he goes to the Tigers. He's immediately an all-star. While he did end off the season a little bit shaky, and in the playoffs did have a decent performance batting 235, he's still a great hitter. What keeps him this low, honestly, is his defense. He's not a great fielder, never has been, and that's kind of why the Yankees let him go, which is obviously ironic because we have Anthony Volpe right now, who's obviously not doing his job. I think it would have been kind of funny if we got Torres back in some capacity, but we didn't. So Torres, I really enjoyed having him, and he's my 5.
Yeah, he is also my 5. So you kind of said all the reasons that I had listed. So I think we can just move on. I'll go into my 4, which this was a guy that was just traded, Brendan Donovan. now part of the Seattle Mariners, had his best year at the plate with 287 batting average, and not his best OPS plus, but his batting average was 287, which is the best in his career. His rookie year, he had a better OPS plus and 124. I also think he is great defensively, and I think he is a fantastic player and going to do even better with the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, that's a player that I forgot to put on my list. I just thought of him previously as an outfielder. I realized now that I know he played second base, but I thought of him more as a utility guy. In his entire career, he's played 186 games in outfield and 225 at second. But this past season, he played 100 of his games at second in some capacity, while he only played 18 in the outfield. So I'll give you that. I'll probably have to just move Albies out, and then I'd probably put him at where would I put him?
Well, and I am curious. He did play a utility role, but I do think with the Mariners trade, they're putting him at second. But he could.
No. I'm saying either way, whether they would or wouldn't. I think he would play second base. But also last year he played majority. Just before last year he wasn't in that, so that's why in my mind I didn't think about it. But I'd move Ozzie down to honorable mention, and now I'd move Simeon to 10, Lau to 9, Keishel to 8, Xavier Edwards to 7, and then I think I'd slot Brendan Donovan at 5. I'll move Torres down to 6. So I'll put Donovan there. That's my fault not communicating a little bit more, but also I just before in his career just completely forgot about him being a primary second baseman. I knew he played the position a little bit, but I'll go into my 4. My 4 is Jazz. Jazz did miss some time last year with injuries, and Jazz Chisholm Jr. is a player that the Yankees really enjoyed having when he's good, and he also had some bad performances in the playoffs, especially in his 2 times with the Yankees in the playoffs. He's batted the same, 182. His career batting average in the playoffs is only 170, and that's not necessarily what you should be basing a list on, but in my mind, that's what sticks in the forefront. I probably would have him higher if not for his playoff woes.
Yeah, I do have him a little bit higher than you, as he is my 3. Brendan Donovan is a protection, mostly as he has played second baseman before, but kind of what he does in a new year with the Mariners. So Chisholm is my 3rd best second baseman for all the reasons you said. Yes, he has struggled in the playoffs, but he has great speed, does well hitting wise. That I think he is really good, and I don't know if I could see him jumping above the other 2, but I do think he will stay high this second baseman list.
Yeah. My next guy at 3 is Bryce Terang. Terang was a guy that played extremely impressively last year, like you mentioned. But I've seen too many people saying that he only had 1 good year. Terang's had 2 seasons on Baseball Reference where he's had 4.7 WAR or more. In 2024, he did not hit as well that year, but he was a Gold Glove winner in 2024. He led the entirety of the NL in D WAR that year. He's one of the best defensive, if not the best defensive second baseman in the league. So I think that he gets a little bit more credit from me. It's either him or my next guy. I'll go into my 2 as well. My 2 is Nico Horner. So either Horner or Bryce Terang is the best fielding second baseman in all of the MLB. And Horner is a little bit better or more consistent over the past couple of years, which is why I'd slot him a little bit higher. But Terang, and he's only played 3 seasons, 1.5 WAR, 4.7 WAR, 5.6 WAR. And last year, he's upped his batting average all the way to basically 290. And while I don't think he'll bat around 290 again, the defense doesn't go away. And he's shown great defense in all 3 of his seasons, again, winning a Gold Glove in 2024. While Horner won the Gold Glove in 2023 and 2025. So the last 3 Gold Gloves at the second base position come from these 2 guys.
Yeah, you make a good argument for Terang, and I think we may have the same 2 and 1 as Nico Horner is my 2 as well.
Yeah. No one compares to the one, though. I'd say one is in his own, I don't know, ballpark's the right way to put it. And while he's not the greatest fielder in the world, I think fielding can be a little bit overrated when you have a hitter like Ketel Marte. In only 126 games last year, he had 28 home runs, 72 RBIs, at a 145 OPS plus. And when you're looking at the OPS plus of all these second basemen, they're all like 120s max. No one even touches 130. And then you have Ketel Marte, who last year was 145. The year before that's 154. A couple years back, 143. A couple years before that, 149. He is the best hitting second baseman, but he also can play other positions. He plays shortstop, he plays some center. Last year, he only played second, though, and I think that's what he'll be this season. But as long as he's happy in Arizona and Arizona wants to keep him around, they will love to have him. And if he was ever put on the trade market, he's a guy that I think would go for a lot. I think that he is the only MVP level player at the second baseman position in the league. Would you agree?
Yes, I agree. And for all the reasons you said, and that's why I was kind of floated about the Diamondbacks possibly trading him this offseason. I was shocked because he is a fantastic player and definitely is the best second baseman in the league right now.
Yeah, and I fully expect him to have another great season. Is there anything else?
No, that's pretty much it. I'll let you close this one out.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Please let us know if there's any second baseman we forgot. Like I forgot Brendan Donovan making my list, but please catch us in our next video.